Hello everyone, I Anilkar welcome you to my day 4 of Angular 8 NGRX tutorial. This is my YouTube channel where you will find videos on all the web development technologies like React.js, Angular 8, HTML5, CSS3. These are all free to available. So please subscribe to my channel and take advantages of these videos. So currently I have not uploaded the NGRX videos. I will upload all the NGRX videos once I completed the entire course on NGRX. So without wasting much time, let's jump into the today's session. Today is day 4 of NGRX tutorial. So in day 3 we have seen how I demonstrated how we can integrate NGRX, how we will use NGRX entity model for the courses screen. Now we'll see same implementation for the courses module or courses screen using NGRX data approach. In day 3 we have seen using NGRX entity approach. In NGRX entity approach, if you have watched my day 3 videos, you could have remembered for a single entity means I can say the course. So for a single entity we have to create action, then corresponding effect, then reducer, then selector. All 4 things or 4 concept has to be rewritten for every entity. Imagine if you have a complex application, then there are multiple number of entities, and for each entity you have to write 4 extra code or 4 extra files. So imagine how the bundle size or how your effort is going to increase. So that's why we will jump into the better approach of managing the state in your Angular application using NGRX data approach. In NGRX data approach, for handling the array of object or for the arrays entity or list of entities, we don't have to write any action, reducer, selector, or like all these stuffs are not at all needed. Just we'll write one service and we'll call the entity data methods for fetching the data from the database as well as for updating our store. So there is no need of action, no need of reducer, no need of effect, neither any need of selectors. Just a one line of code and it will do everything. It will call the API and it will populate the store or update the store. We'll see how we'll do that. And entity data, the NGRX/data concept work with only the list of entities, means the array of objects. For single entity, for an object or for boolean value, these are single entity. For that we can use our old approach. Like for that we have to create action, reducer, all the stuff that is needed. But when it comes to a list of entities, like the courses entity in which we have a list of courses, then we will take help of NGRX/data instead of entity approach. Okay, we'll see that. So let's log in and navigate to our courses screen. See, once I navigated to the courses screen, you are seeing this action is triggered. This is course @NGRX/data all action. This action is triggered for populating the courses data into the store. And if you see, this is my store in which we have router state, auth state. We will concentrate on the course state. So as we are using the data approach for storing the code, so it will create a slice called entity cache. In the entity cache you will find our course and it is being stored as IDs, entities. So in the similar approach as it is with the entity approach. So in the entity cache we have a course property in which it contains IDs, entities. In entities we will find ID along with corresponding course detail. Along with that we will find the entity name and loaded flag. It is very necessary. Loaded flag equal to true. We will see how we can use that. If we have data in the store, then the loaded flag will be true. If there is no data, then loaded flag will be false. It is automatically done by the NGRX data and loading. So it's like it's a negation of loaded. Means if there is no data in the store, then the loading will be true. If there is some data in the store, then loading will be false. And we can utilize it for showing the spinner. And this flag we can utilize for conditional calling of API. Means conditional calling means if it is true, then we won't call the API. We'll directly fetch the data from the store. If it is false, then we have to call the API and we have to update the store. So this is for conditional data fetching. We can use this loaded flag. Okay, if you see the raw approach of the state, in the raw you will find a better idea how it looks. So it's an entity cache, it's an object. Within that we have property course. Within that we have again course is another object. Within that we will find property like IDs of the course, then entities in which property is ID, then value for that is the corresponding course details. Then we will find entity name, loaded flag, loading flag. These are all like these property are being maintained by our NGRX data. We don't have to do anything. And for dispatching this action also, we have not written anything to dispatch this action. This action is automatically dispatched. Just we have to use a function in the data approach. So that function will automatically dispatch the action, automatically call the API and automatically update the state in the store. So this is the cool feature. We don't have to write any reducer, any effect, neither the selector. So let's see. So for using the NGRX data approach, first of all you have to install npm install @NGRX/data --save. After installation, I already has installed in my application, so you can open the package.json file. You will find after installation there will be an entry for NGRX/data. So I have installed 10.0.0 version, the latest version of NGRX data. Let's close this. Then we will have to move to the corresponding modules. So we are now in course module.ts file. In course module.ts file, what you have to do, you have to create a constant of type entity metadata map. This entity metadata map you have to import from NGRX/data. That's why we need to install that package. Okay, clear? Then in this constant, it's an object in which we will provide the slices of entity. We will provide here in this object we will mention the entity names. So in my application I have two entity, one course entity, another is lesson entity. If there is any sort comparer function for sorting the courses, we can provide using sort comparer, then function name, as we have seen in the entity approach in the day 3 video. Likewise for lesson also we can provide the sorting function. Okay, and these are some flag that is needed. We will come to that later. So that is not mandatory. Only like we can, what you have to do, you have to create a constant of type entity metadata map, then write the entity name, colon, we can give empty object also. Like this, it is also not necessary. We will write like this also if you don't need any compare sorting function, then we can leave it an empty object as well. Okay, and whatever the entity name that you will give here, the same entity name will be reflected in your store. I have given course entity, so that's why you are seeing within the entity cache you are seeing the course entity, but you are not seeing the lesson entity because we have not navigated to the lesson page yet. Once we navigate to the lesson page, then you will see the lesson entity. So for navigating to the lesson page, how we have to do, in my application I have a view button. On click of view button, it will fetch the data for the lesson and it will update the store. And I am using the AG-grid approach for displaying the data in the tabular structure. So that's a different story, how to use AG-grid. So if you see, these are my lessons corresponding to that course. And if you see now my state, okay, let me go to the latest action. This is the latest action, the lesson action that is being triggered. This also we have not written any configuration for the action. It is automatically triggered, just we have to use a function. So the action name is add all action for fetching the data. Okay, now if you see, so let me go to the tree structure. If you see in the entity cache, now we have course as well as lesson. Okay, now if we will see in lesson also we have ID of lessons and entities. If I will expand, you will find there are within the ID array there will be 2 ID because we have 2 lessons. So it is showing 3 IDs, maybe somewhere it's okay, we'll see that later. What is the issue? So the main concept is here it will show the ID and corresponding. Okay, there means there are, by mistake I have given different ID for the same course. Okay, so here you are seeing only 3 ID because there are 3 lesson and 2 lesson belongs to my course ID 1. So this is my course ID, these are the lessons for my course ID 1. If you see, this is the course ID 1, that's why you are seeing only 2 entries. For course ID 2 you will find 1 entry. Okay, these are all my lesson entity. So see how easy it is. Just you have to mention the entity name, then everything will be done. You don't have to write any reducer or action or any selectors. Then after creating this constant, what we have to do next, go to your constructor function in the module. First create an instance of entity definition service. Then create an instance of entity data service, entity definition service and entity data service. And then we have to do entity definition service dot register metadata map, and we are registering the entity metadata that we have created here in the const. Then we have entity data service that we have created, and entity data service, in that entity data service we are registering our data service for this entity. And why this is data service is needed, we will come to that later. Okay, so this is optional, this statement is optional, and when we need that I will let you know, but this is mandatory, register metadata map. Okay, then what we have to do, then we have to create a service. For each entity we have to create one service. So for course entity we have a service, we created a service called course entity service. If you go to the course entity service, you will see this is a class having @injectable decorator. It extends entity collection service base for the entity course entity. Here we mention the name of the course and we have to import that. And in the constructor we have to create an instance of entity collection service element factory, and within the constructor we have to call the super keyword to call the constructor of this parent class. So in the super keyword, we will provide the slice, or we will provide the entity name that we have mentioned in the courses module, the TS file, in the entity metadata map, right? There we have mentioned course. If it is XYZ here, then we have to use XYZ here. Okay. Then in the super we have to provide the course argument as well as the service entity factory instance that we have created. So it takes 2 arguments. That's it. This is a very normal service, a minimal amount of code we are writing here, and these things need to be repeated for every entity. Just we have to change here the entity name here as well as here. That's it, and everything will be same. Okay, once we created this service, so it's a service, so we have to provide that into the provider array of the corresponding module. This entity service has some method, and if you want to override those methods, then we have to create another data service. If you want to override this service, extend default data service. Again, we provide the entity for which we are creating the service. In the constructor, we have to create an instance of HTTP client as well as HTTP URL generator. Okay, this HTTP URL generator as well as the default data service are being imported from ngrx/data. Then we have to call the super function. We have to provide the entity name, then HTTP, then HTTP URL generator. Then we will write the function to override. So these are the function. Here I have commented that because we are not utilizing this one. So these are the some function that I have overridden. Why I have overridden? Because the URL of my API is different from the URL that NGRX data is expecting. We'll see that what is expecting and how it is expecting. So I am overriding get all method, add method, update method, delete method. These methods are available with the NGRX data, and these methods are used for calling the database API as well as updating the store. And if the API URL is different from the URL that NGRX/data is expecting, then you have to override this method using the data service. And this data service we are registering here. If you need to use that, then we have to register that. And we are registering in this module, courses module, using this approach: entity data service dot register service, then the slice, the entity, and for a service for that entity, course data service. As it is service, it also need to be provided in the providers array. And we have lesson entity. That's why we also created the lesson entity service, which is similar to the course entity service. Just we have changed the name of the entity there. Okay. Then we'll see how we can fetch the data from the database for the courses component. We'll go to the course component.ts file. In course component.ts file, first of all, what we have to do, we have to get an instance of my courses entity service, means this service. Okay, using this service only we can call the methods. We are instructing the courses entity service having name courses plural. Just remember it is plural, courses service. And we are having a normal HTTP service, which is a course service, and the instance is singular. Okay, course service. Don't be confused. It's plural, it's singular. Just for differentiation. So then within the onInit method, we are calling the getCourses function. In getCourses function, what we are doing? We are utilizing the entity service. This dot courses service means this service dot loaded observables. So loaded observable will give you access to the loaded flag that we have seen, right? For every entity there is a loaded flag, and I told you we will utilize that loaded flag. This is the loaded flag for conditional fetching the data from the database. This loaded flag, once again I am explaining, this loaded flag will be true if we have data in the store. If you don't have any data in the store, then it is false. Okay, so this we can utilize for conditionally calling the API. So here we are doing this dot process service dot loaded underscore. It returns an observable. Then we are subscribing to that observable. We'll get the flag true or false flag. And here we are checking if the flag is false, means there is no data in the store. In that case, we have to call the API for fetching the data from database. We are calling the API by using the normal HTTP service course service dot fetch course. In course service, if you see, the fetch course is just a get method. Okay, that also will open. Fetch course is just a get method in which we are fetching all the courses. Once we get the response, we are extracting the beginner courses, advanced courses. So these are all the stuffs I am doing as per my requirement. The important thing is, once we get the data from the database, we need to add it to the store. So we are adding that to the store by using this dot courses service dot add all to cache. Add all to cache, in which we are providing the array of courses. Okay. Add all to cache will add it to the store. Okay. Add the courses to the store. So for adding the courses to the store, we are using add all to cache. Then if the flag is true, means already we have data in the store, then there will be no need of calling this API, because we have the data in the store. We again and again will call the API. So this improves the performance. So we are directly fetching the data from the store. For fetching the data from the store, we can use course service dot entity $. Like we have used loaded $. Similarly, we can fetch the data for the entities. Entity contains the lessons, so we will write entity $ symbol. $ is used for the observable representations. Then it is an observable, then we can subscribe to that observable to retrieve the beginners and advanced course. So see, we are fetching the data from the database without using any selector. So no need of selector, just use the corresponding property entities $. And similarly, we can add the data to the store without any help of reducer. No need of reducer at all. You have to call the appropriate function in the courses entity service. So this is the real advantage of using the data approach. We don't have to write any reducer, neither the selector nor the action. Once you write this function, so this function add all to cache, what it will do, it will trigger the action add all. This is used for populating our courses entity. So this action we have not written anywhere. This is being created or handled by NGRX data itself. Just we have written the correct function. Okay. So this way. So actually here if you see, I am calling my own HTTP service. Actually this calling of HTTP service is at all not needed. NGRX data can call this service automatically. You don't have to call this manually. Even this line of code is also we can remove, or we can comment this line of code. If I will comment this line of code, then let's see, I have to uncomment this one. So here what we are doing, this dot entity courses entity service dot get all. Get all is a method in the entity service which is used, it does the two things. First, it will call the API to fetch the data from the database, and second, once it get the data from the database, it will update the store. These two things will be done automatically by this single function. You don't have to write any effect for that. But the constraint is the getAll method require the API in a specific format. The API URL should be in a specific format. We'll see how it looks, the API URL. For that, we have to go to the network tab. Let's clear it and save it also right here. It is compiling. Have patience. Okay, see. So it just a minute, let it be loaded. Okay, if you see no data, no courses are being shown in the screen. Even we are getting 2 errors. Why error? Because of this API. The getAll expect the API to be like this, API/courses. So what it will do, it will construct the API by default, by itself. So it will construct the API in a way like first server name, then server name up to this, then /API/ it will take the entity name and it will make that to plural courses. So we have given entity name and course, then it will take that and add s, because it is a get request. If you see, it is automatically triggering the get request. We are not calling the get request anywhere. It automatically triggering this get request. And it is expecting the API should be like this, API/courses. But this is the API that we are not dealing with. The API URL is different one in our case, right? So that's why this API gets failed, and we are getting status code as 404 not found. Okay. So in this case, like our API URL is different from the API URL that NGRX data is expecting. So that's why we have to override this getAll method. We can override this getAll method by using in the courses data service using this function. Okay, let me uncomment this. So getAll methods is expecting the entity array, observable of entity array to be returned. Okay, if you will see the definitions, let me close everything which is not needed at all. If we will see the definition for this getAll, let me click here. So getAll returns the observable of entity array and the argument is optional. Okay, so we have to if we are overriding it, then we have to return an observable of entity array, the course array, and we are writing our own HTTP call in which our API URL is different from the API URL that it is expecting, and we have to return the observable of courses array. That's why we are returning using the map operator. This way we can override. If we'll save here, now we are getting the data. Even if you see, if I will go to my API, this is the API that it get called, the get API, and it gets successfully done. And this API we are not calling anywhere, this get method. We are just utilizing, we are just calling the getAll method, and this get all method we are overriding in our data service. That's why it is calling this API. If we have designed the API as for the API data service or NGRA data is expecting, then we don't have to override here. But in our case, the API is different. That's why we have to override here. But the one constant is like if the API is expecting some payload to pass with the get method, that won't be possible here, because get all is a method that we are overriding and it expects the parameter as for the definition we have seen just now. So we cannot pass the payload here. As for me, the better approach should be like, instead of overriding this method, get all method, what we can do, we will call our own API, because in our own API we can provide the payload as for our requirement. There is no restriction. And once we call our own API, once we get the data from the database, then we will add the data to the cache by using add all to cache, because the main purpose is how we can store the data in the store, so that we will avoid repeated call of API when we are navigating back to the same page from some other screens. So it is a better approach, I believe. So that's why this approach I am following. Because first, my API URL is different from the API URL that the entity service is expecting. Second is, if we have to pass some payload, we could not able to pass even if we are overriding the entity service methods, because they are expecting payload in some different format. So it will be better to call our own service. Once you get the data, add it to the cache by using the cache method of the entity service. Okay, this way like how we can fetch the data from the database using the get method. Now we'll see the add method. Okay, this is the add course method. So for that, we have to go to the edit dialog. In edit dialog, we have add method, which we have written in the onSave method. Okay, so for add means the mode is create. So these are all Angular concepts, so that's why I am not going deeper into that. We will consider only on the NGRX concept, not on the basic Angular concepts. So if we are in the create mode, then this will be triggered. Okay, here what we are doing, we are calling our own service, our own HTTP service, in which we are calling our add course method, and it will add the data into the database. Once the data get added into the database, then we are adding the same course data into the cache. Now it is add one. Earlier it was add all, because there will be an array of courses. Now it is only one course, because we will create one course at a time. So it is add one to cache. So it will be added to the cache. Okay, and this add course is our own method, own service method. So let me open that too also, how the service looks. This is our normal service method, add course method. This add post method. Here it's a post method, and we are passing the codes that need to be added to the database. Okay. So if you see, we can demonstrate that add also. We need a image. I will take AI image. We need an image of the course, so that will display the newly created course. So that's why I am searching for the image. I will take this image, copy image address. Okay, then go to my application, click on the course, Let's add course. Here I will write AI. Okay, paste the course image that we have copied. Then scroll down, give some ID. Let's it be 100. I will give. Category is beginner level. Let's select. Sequence number, I will give 200. Then let's go to the Redux, clear everything. We'll see what action it get triggered. Click on that, save button. You'll see add one action is being triggered. This action also we have not written anywhere. There is no action file at all needed here. This is all being dispatched by using the NGRX data. But we have to call the appropriate function. This is dispatched because we are calling add one to cache method in the entity service. Add one to cache, it will trigger this action. This action, if you see, it has a payload of, if you see the payload, first the entity name is course, then this is the payload that we are sending, the data, the courses data that we are sending. And this get updated to the store. So if you scroll down, you will find the AI image get rendered in your web page because it is now in the store. If you go to the state and if you expand the course, you will find there are 3 IDs. Okay, one with 100 ID because for this AI image. Okay. So here also we are doing the same thing. First we are calling our normal HTTP service. Once our normal service gets successfully done, then we are adding that the same course to the store using the add one to cache method. Okay. Here also we can do in similar approach as we have done for the get all method. So here we have a add method. The add method of entity service. In the add method, we don't have to call any API at all. So if we'll uncomment this one. Okay. Now save it. So it's a course entity service having an add method in which we have to provide the course that need to be added. Okay. And let me show you. First of all, we need to go to the network tab, clear everything. Redux tab also clear everything. Let's go to the entity tab, network tab. Add course title. I will add XYZ. Image URL, HTTP image, any random image URL. Course ID 56. Selected category beginner. Sequence number 65. Let's click on the save button. As soon as you click the save button, it is calling the API, the course API. If you see the API structure is API/course. Server name, then API/course, and it's a post method. This API we are not calling anywhere. This is being triggered by entity data, by NGRX data automatically. And it takes a payload. If you see, the payload is the course that we have provided in the add method. But the API that the NGRX data is expecting is not our API. Either we have to create the API in the similar fashion, or we can override this add method as we have done for the get all method. For overriding the add method, what we have to do? Then we have to go to the data service method. Here is the function for overriding. Here add, then it takes a parameter which is an entity, course entity, and it will return the course entity, observable of course entity. And we will call our post method with our own URL, and we will provide the entity. Then then we have to return the same entity. So we are returning using the map operator. Okay. So in this way we can override the add method. Okay. And if you see the definition of the add method, you can also see the definition. Let's press the control icon and click on this add method. See, it is expecting an argument of entity type and the return type will be observable of entity. That's what we are doing. We are providing an argument of entity type and the return type observable of entity. Now if we will save, okay. So first of all, let me delete this, okay, so that we can add it again. We will go to the Redux, also clear everything. Go to the network tab also. Okay. Let's add. Course title is AI image that we have copied. Course ID 56. Selector category beginner. Course sequence number, that will be 65. Save it. Now if you see, our API is successfully executed, our post API, but the URL is our own URL that we have written in the override method. And if you see the payload, it takes the post payload. Everything is successfully done. And if you see in our application, you will see the AI get rendered. So it added to the store as well as to the database. If you go to our Redux, you will see add one action is being triggered for the database operation for inserting that new record into the database, and success is being triggered. Okay, add one is triggered, then after that success is being triggered for updating that course into the store. So two action has been triggered, and this action we have not configured anywhere. It will automatically be triggered. And also we are not calling this API. It also automatically get triggered. Just we have to override or add method. Okay. Again the same constraint exists. We can only provide the course argument to the add method. We cannot provide any other argument. So either design the API in such a way, or what we have to do, we have to call our own API. Once our own API get successfully inserted the record, then call add one to cache. So this is the approach I prefer, because here we do not have any restriction on the payload, because we are calling our own service method, so we can pass any type of payload. It is not necessary it should be an entity, but in that case, even if we are overriding, we have to pass only the entity payload. We could not add anything other than entity. That's the restriction. That's why I preferred, I call my own service. Once it gets successful, then I'm calling my add one to cache method, which is available in the entity service. Okay. For adding the course to the store. Okay. Then we'll see the edit method. Okay. In the edit case also, here means we have written edit as well as create in the same dialog box. When it is edit, the mode of the dialog box is update. When it is create, the mode of the dialog box is create. Okay, that's a Angular material concept that we are not going to discuss here. We will concentrate on NGRX data concept. So when it is update mode, then we are calling our own API in own function. in which I am providing the course that need to be updated and the node of that course, because in Firebase everything is in the form of node, so we need that node also. And once it get edited successfully, then we are calling update one in cache, and we are providing the updated course so that our store get updated with this new course. Okay, if you see in action, you can see that also. Let's go to the Redux tab, submit. Let's change this. So I will change this AI. Let's change to AI intro. It's an introduction course. Save it. As soon as you save it, you will see an action which is being triggered. We are not dispatching any action anywhere. It is automatically being dispatched with a payload of course. Okay. This payload get updated. This action will update our store with this new course. Okay. So see, are you getting means? We can observe this advantage of using the NGRX data if you have watched my day 3 videos, in which I did all this card operation using entity approach. There we have to write a lot of code, reducer, selector, action, all this kind effect, all this kind of things that we have to write. But in the data approach, we don't have to write all those things. Neither action is needed, nor reducer, nor effect, nor selector. Just we have to call the appropriate method in the entity service. Okay. And in the similar way, we can also call the direct update method. Instead of calling our own API, we can call our update method, and then we can close the dialog box. Okay. This is update method. We'll see how it does. So this update method, it's like similar, in the similar way, it will call the API automatically and it will update our store. Two things can be done with a single function, update function. So let's see. For that, let's go to the network tab, clear everything. In Redux also we need to clear everything. Okay, let's update. We'll see. Again something. I will remove now intro. Save it. As soon as we save, you will see an API is being triggered. The API URL is server name, then API/course/ID. In the edit method, the URL the NGRX data is expecting is course/ID of that course, and the payload is the edited course. Payload, if you see, it's the edited course that we have provided in the update method. And if you see, it's a put request. So this API is being triggered automatically as we have used the update method of entity service. Okay, but this is not the URL. Our URL is different one as usual. So we have to override this method. Then we have to go to the courses data service.ts file. We have this method update. Okay. Update method. In the update method, it's expecting entity and it will return the observable of that entity. And it's a put request in which we have to provide the new course that need to be updated. Okay. Well, it's a put request. And if you want to see the definition of this update method, we can see that too. Press Control, click on this update. So if you see, it is expecting an input as entity and it will return an observable of entity. Okay. So in this way we can override it. So you can try it later. Okay. Just I am commenting this one. Again I am commenting this one. Okay, in this way we can use update method also, or else you will call. See, there is a restriction in the payload format. That's why I prefer to call my own service function, and once it get done, then I am calling my update one in cache method. Okay. Then comes the delete function. Okay, just a minute. Let me save it. Yeah. Let me save it. Okay, then go to my delete. You will find the delete method in the code list component.ts file. So this is on delete course. Once you click on the button in the delete, it will get deleted. So for example, if I will want to delete, let me go to the reducer, close everything. If I will click on this delete method, let's click on the delete method. I mean the delete button. This action, remove one action, is being triggered. It will remove that course entity from the store. For that, what I have done, first of all, I am calling my own service function. Once it get deleted from the database, then I am calling entity service dot remove one from cache. This is the entity service method, and we are providing the course that need to be removed. Remove one from cache. Okay. And we can also do the same thing without calling our own API function. We can call the delete method in the entity service this way. Okay. If you see the definition of delete method, let me save it also too. If you see the definition of delete method, the delete method, it expects the key, which is either a number or string, and it will return the observable of that key. Means key means ID of the entity that need to be deleted. So we are providing the courses.id in the delete method, but it will expect an API in some different format. So now we'll see that API, what is the format of that API. So let me click on the delete button. Click on the delete button. You'll see the API, it will call the delete API. So if you see the delete API, but it is expecting the API in the format API/course/ID, same as in the update method. But here it is not, unlike update, it is not expecting any payload. Okay, but this is not the API. We are not dealing with this API. This is API is what NGRX data is expecting. So we need to override this delete method. For overriding, again we have to go to the courses data.service, and we are overriding using this way. Okay. So here we are calling the delete method. Then you are providing the course ID. Then it's a delete request, because delete method only need one parameter, course ID, and we are providing that, and we have to return that course ID. That's it. In this way we can delete the course, that you can see later, since you can try this out. this overriding concept. So here also exists the payload constraint. That's why I prefer to call my own API. Then I will call remove one from cache. Okay, like if you want to remove more items, that is remove many from cache or remove all from cache. Okay, you can see those definition also. So in this way, like we can deal with our entity card operation using NGRX data approach. The advantage is like we don't have to write any reducer, any selector, means we don't have to write neither the selector nor action nor effect. So all these stuffs are not needed at all. Just we have to write one service, entity service, and we have to call the appropriate method. That's it. Our work is done. And even for subscribing, we can directly subscribe by using entity $. No need of creating the selector. For the effect, it will call the API automatically. Or if you want to override, if your URL of the API is different, then you can override that method. Or you can call your own API and then call the cache method of entity service. Like add all to cache or add one to cache or update one in cache, remove one from cache. Those kind of method you can also call after calling your own service, your custom service methods. That also, because basically the main focus is how we can deal with the store data so that we can fetch the data from the store without calling the API again and again. That is the main approach and the main aim. So thank you guys for watching. I guess it helped you a lot. We have covered the NGRX concept in Angular. So please go through all the 4 videos, and whichever way you are comfortable, please pick up that way to deal with the NGRX concepts. Thanks.